Hello friends, it's Simone, your favorite neighborhood nerd. It's raining here today and I'm all geared up, but I was originally going to go on an actual trail hike. Now I'm just roaming around the neighborhood, which I mean, it's still pretty, but it's not the same. Maybe this afternoon when the rain has stopped, I'll go outside into the woods. But since I'm made of sugar and I'm melting away rapidly, I'm not able to go to this morning. I do have some questions though for you if you're a dog parent. I've been watching hiking videos with dogs, backpacking videos with dogs, because basically that's the ultimate plan that I have to do with Max. Now, there are people that take vests and cooling vests. I mean, a cooling vest actually makes sense in my opinion because it gets very hot in the summer here. But I have never seen my dog be cold. And so I'm wondering if I'm just not seeing it because I'm too oblivious to know the signs, or if he's just not cold and, coats are there because humans think dogs are cold. I'm not judging either way. I just want to do right by Max. And I don't want him to be cold when I'm too oblivious to notice. So if you have a big dog like this guy, where are you, friend? Like this guy right here, then I would love for you to share your experiences with me. He's not amused about going out in the rain, but he's also totally fine with going. It just needs to be a little convincing, and his coat is quite thick. So yeah, if you have a dog like him, then let me know. I will see you at the desk. I'm back because I have two things that I wanted to share with you. I am currently listening to the Moonflower Murders, I believe it's called. It's the second in a series by Anthony Horowitz. I got the recommendation from the Currently Reading podcast, which I'm getting most of my recommendations from. And the first one really worked well for me. I'm having a hard time. The first one was called Magpie Murders, but I'm having a harder time getting into this one. So we'll see. And his books are about 18 hours long. So I think I'm 4 hours in and I'm like, I don't know. That's one of the benefits of listening to audiobooks. You can just let it swallow you up and you don't really have to listen to it. But then at some point it happens and you're in it. So that's what I'm currently listening to. And the other thing is, it's raining. As you can see, I geared up in my husband's old Bundeswehr rain jacket because that's the only rain-proof thing that we have currently, as we are supposedly living in the desert. But last week I was in the Bay Area with lots of rain, completely got drenched. That was not perfect grammar, but we don't care. And this week I am obviously getting wet here. So I am looking for recommendations for an affordable waterproof rain jacket. I saw the Rainier jacket on REI, and that was recommended by Miranda Goes Outside, which is a YouTube channel that I watch. You should too. I really like her. But the reviews recently have been really bad on this jacket, and so I am not really sure that this is where I should spend my money. However, I would love something that is waterproof. It doesn't need to be like, you know, high function. If it has zippers under the armpits so I can get some sweat out, that would be appreciated, but it doesn't have to do anything else. So if you have recommendations for that, please drop them in the comments down below. All right, off to the hills. Sorry for the shakiness. The first thing that I would like to do today is move something around. I am having quite a bit of trouble with this pen. It starves, and I'm not sure if this is me just doing something wrong. I swapped out the feed to the Ebonite feed, but it's still not performing as I would hope it does. I can write for a tiny bit, and then I'm having a huge amount of hard starts. What I have noticed is that it is happening more on slick paper like Tomoe River paper. And when I wrote with it on, let me just, well, like paper like this, it's doing better, but also it's not here. So why is this happening? And my guess would be, or to eliminate anything that I am, maybe it's the converter, and that's what I'm like hoping or trying to do. I want to move this nib into this pen so that I have more ink capacity here and it could flow more easily. I'm not sure if that's going to help though, but that's what I'm going to try. And this is going to be messy, so I think what I need is this too. I'm always bringing out my gloves here. I need a little bit more ink. And tell me I'm like kind of not, I should stop acting like I don't have any ink, because when I thought about moving this nib over into this pen, the first thing was like, oh my gosh, I only have a 30 milliliter bottle of this ink. But actually, that's totally fine. I don't need to hoard all the inks. So I'm looking for stuff because, of course, I'm not prepared. The first thing that I want to do is unscrew this nib. No, I don't need that, I think. So now I'm like confused, or I'm confusing myself. When you use an Opus 88 nib, there is this this gasket ring in the thing, so maybe I need to use that. But also, isn't this a pilot housing? I can't even get that rubber gasket around here. Oh, I don't even know if that's going to work. Ta-ta! Let's just try. How does it even work? This is supposed to be a Jovo numbers. How? Ta-ta-ta, I should have bought the thing without. So now the question is, do I just cut it off? I could, however, do some other stuff, but then I need to clean my pen first. I do have another eyedropper fill pen here, but again, the question is, let me just try it. Who cares? I can just, then I clean it and then I come back and talk about it some more. Would this work? Yeah, this would work. Oh, I'm so annoyed by myself. I should have purchased the other one. I think I need another. Well, this is real life, friends, so you just know that not everything goes to plan when you film videos, especially when you're me, because I never have a plan. Okay, so if I wanted to use the pilot housings, the pilot nibs in the Opus 88, Flexible Nib Factory has this exact same housing without the nibble here that houses the converter. So if I do this, this is where this fits on. But because this is specifically made for Jowo compatible things like this, so it only needs, this only needs to show through. I could cut it off. I might actually do that too. So let's continue with the experiments. Where is my knife? And I might regret this later, but that doesn't keep me from experimenting for science. The question is, can I even cut this off? So I would probably cut it off here. No, I think I'm just gonna order another one, but maybe I don't even need to order one because I could use this pen for that. That was the idea anyway. I talked about this in my maker video, so maybe I'm just going to have to change it right away. I will, what am I going to do? I will clean this out. I need to clean this one out too. And yeah, this is fun. Because the dog is sleeping behind me, I'm thinking if I should go and clean this out before, or if I should just continue with the next point that I wanted to do. Next topic on my list, which is drawing a challenge card, rolling the dice, drawing a card, and seeing if I can be more successful this time around. This would be the third time. Wow. That is, ugh. I just got this nib to write too. I had a hard time. Oh well, see, oh well, here. This was so hard and didn't write well, and now it flows. So. Oh, well. Oh. Well. So, we'll do that later, so we can put away all of this for now. Ta-da! I meant to actually also film a currently inked video later. What do you think about these flowers here? I really like how they look, and they're just simple, scribbly things that surprised me a lot. All right. Okay, let's move on to drawing a card and seeing what comes up. Oh, this photo does not want to stay up here. Here's my D20. As you might have remembered, I expanded my set from 10 to 20 cards. 19. Okay. This is the funniest thing ever because I am, on the one hand, I have ideas that I could do. It's not like I don't have any ideas that I can do. I don't have to roll the dice to know what I could be doing. But also, I really want to roll the dice. But then, when I'm done rolling the dice, I'm dreading what the card will make me do. So, number 19. Cast on Fingerless mitts. What? Not at all what I expected. Not at all. Okay. Wow. So, for this project, I think I have 2 or 3 fingerless mitts. There's a free pattern by Paper Dog here on YouTube. I think they're called Duke City mitts, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, I will put it up here. And I thought I was going to use that pattern. Now I'm like super confused because I did not expect this to happen, but I'm excited, so we will do this. What am I going to hold, please? Not gonna lie, I am feeling quite overwhelmed. So this is actually my knitting journal or crafty journal, something that is completely filled. And I actually wanted to, at some point, put all of this loose stuff somewhere in here. The first notebook that I used was a B6 journal from Coco Daisy back in the day. Basically, this is what it looks like. I stamped this pattern onto cardstock and glued it on. And then I logged all of the projects here. I had, or still have, stickers to number them all the way through. Oh, man, wow, so much. So that was the first journal that I had. And then when this was full, or all the projects had been logged in here, many of those I have not finished or frogged since then. I moved into this one. I don't even know where this comes from, what this actually is. I went to Stitches West in 2020. That was basically just before the pandemic. This is what all I purchased. I'm not sure what was supposed to go here. And then this is yarn that I used to knit a cardigan for my nephew. I started this shawl, then frocked it again. This is what it looks like now. I'm still not done with this. Cast this one on, frocked all of this. I don't even know what that, maybe it's this. Hold on. Maybe this is what that was supposed to be? Possibly. But what I'm wanting to do is probably, maybe I'll start a new one and just keep this as is and stick stuff in and call it done. The question is, though, do I want to start another B6 Or do I want to start a traveler's notebook? I mean, I do have quite a few traveler's notebook covers. I feel like I should just call this done. And this one is a cover that I purchased from Mystic Little Gifts. And then I sent it to Eberhard Studio, and she added a pocket and made it into, instead of a traveler's notebook, she made it into a folder right here, like a book sleeve, which I love. Or I could actually, I have an idea. This is a complete tangent from the project. What I could do is I do still have B6 notebooks. Okay, what is happening here? Here's the middle. So maybe that's one of the things that I should be doing. All right, number one. And I did use or choose these smaller notebooks because I'm just trying to loosen the threads a tiny bit here so that it's easier to put on the notebooks, because I knew that I was going to stick a ton of photos in here and such. What if I move all of this in here and then go find a third one and then just stick all of the things into these notebooks and just start a new one for... I'll be back. I'll check what I have. Can someone please explain to me why I thought that I had a ton of B6 notebooks? This is one of them that I have. I have two, and this one. And I like this, but I think I'm always looking for thin paper and awesome paper, but I think for this specific use case, what I want is not a thin paper, because I am going to add so many different things to this. So now I'm back to square one. And also, why does it look so tiny? This is not actual true B6 size, that's why. Or this size is not B6 and this is bigger. So this is a Stalogy notebook and this is a Wonderland 222. So I'm completely veering off. My thought right now is, why don't I make one? Or maybe I should just go ahead and call myself defeated and say, okay, man, but there are some instructions like this here that I really would love to look back to. Oh, look at, I made a keychain. Huh, interesting. Stuff that I discovered that I made. So this was a making diary, basically. I also made this. That was so much fun, and the person did never ever send anything back to me. What an asshole. Why is this important? Oh yes, because I want to log the process the second I start. So weird. So, well, I am going to make a notebook. I'm going to do that today. I do need the cover, the dimensions, and I think the easiest way to do that, to grab that, is to, oh no, what fell? The lid of one of my pens. Yes, here. I think I'm going to measure it with this one. That gives me an easy way. And I'm just going to put this on here. Yeah, so if I fold this in the middle, it might be okay as a cover. I might actually even just go all the way here. So then I could put washi tape or so on the edge. And then I have this paper here, and I have this whole thing that I can take apart and then rebind. And I think that's enough. But, and I'm also going to include these as hinges, because you can see I had so many things in my other notebooks that I tipped in, that this would be really cool. Hinges are just things that I will include in the binding of the notebook, where I can stick down postcards and stuff. But I'm going to do that more structured than it looks right now. So I'm going to put all of this aside, because that is the tangent. I also printed this. I found this on Don't Be Such a Square. I just Googled, because I don't recall having actual DK weight yarn. And for the pattern that I chose, which is this one, I said I was going to possibly use the Duke City Mitts by Dagmar from Paper Dag, or Zia Wools. It's a free pattern. This one is also a free pattern. This one is by Diana Twiz. If I'm not mistaken, she's a Vancouver-based pattern designer, or at least this was made by her. I found this one through Rainbow Ange, Yarn and Yarns. She's been knitting this quite often, and so these were the two free mitten patterns that I had in my Ravelry library. And you can get that there as well. However, this pattern was, I looked at both of them, and this was easier accessible for me right now. I haven't knit in quite a long time. I know how to do right stitches, and I can look them up, I can follow instructions, but reading patterns is really hard, and so it needs to be extremely well structured for me to be able to understand what I'm reading. And so Dagmar's pattern looks like it's written for more advanced knitters, or at least I didn't understand it at first glance, which is not to say that the pattern doesn't work or is bad in any means. It's just that I wasn't able to grasp what I needed to do, what yarn I needed to pick and all that. And this one did that a little bit more easily. And so I printed that. I'm going to knit this, and I'm going to choose the yarn, and that's why I printed this one, because I don't have, this pattern calls for DK weight yarn, and I was looking, so if I hold yarn double, where do I get? And so it says two strands of fingering weight equals 1 strand of DK weight. So I can easily adjust and pick 2 fingering weight skeins of yarn, or even the same, and just hold both ends, hold it double and use that. But before I'm going to before I'm going to make the journal, before I'm going to pick the yarn and share that with you, I cleaned the pen. It's still very pink. I hope it's drier. Yes, it looks kind of dry. And now I am just going to, first of all, harvest the stuff that is still in here. Then I'm going to add a little bit more of the ink from the ink bottle. The ink that I'm using is Amarillo Stationery Blue Suntan, which is really lovely. I didn't think I would like it as much as I'm liking it right now. So the first thing that I want to do is just I could have just easily dumped this over there. Well, learned something new. And then we can see how much ink that actually is. I'm gonna just dump all of this into my cleaning stuff. Well, I definitely need more. But what I want to do next is to put on my glove again. Here comes the glove. I don't have a ball winder, and if I need to wind this yarn, what? Okay, this is where this is seated. It doesn't go anywhere. Why does this not work? What? Okay. Well, maybe there was a specific way of putting this in here. Is this all the way back? Well, if I look at this, it shows, what does it even say? I need some light. Please be aware that I'm turning on the light. I still can't see anything. Is this all the way in? It looks the same as it was before. Okay, this is not straight. Okay, I feel like I'm breaking stuff. If you cannot see if I'm maybe possibly breaking stuff, then please look away. Oh, okay. Fuck. Can I say it? Shit. Wendy, so why is it not working? There we go. Okay. All right, so. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. So, I'm extremely confused. This doesn't go in here at all. And I am wondering, oh no, it does. So why? So what is wrong? What am I doing wrong? It doesn't have channels on the side here. Okay, but it goes in. Okay, okay. Okay, it sits on here. This is correct. Okay, let's just go really slowly then. Okay, this is in. It is in. I can see it here right now. Okay, this is in here. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Every time I do this, even though this is now the third or fourth time that I'm switching nibs from different makers onto flexible nib factory housings, my heart like drops into my pant pocket. Okay, so now I need more ink. How much ink do I want in here? Because this much? Half the barrel? Is that too little? It feels like it's too little. Huh. But however, am I ever going to use up all of that ink? I mean, if I wanted to use the nib with a different ink, I could just still leave the ink in here and put a different nib on there, right? Okay. I'm calling it done. So let me, okay. That was scary. Okay. Ink. Maybe I'm too fast. Maybe that's why it's railroading. Ink is flowing. Okay. I'll try this in my regular writing and journal and see how it goes. Scary. Okay, so this one has been dealt with. So what I'm going to do is I am going to mark the height of the notebook, but what I won't do is is mark the width, because I will then cut off when I'm done binding the whole thing. But I will cut this off. How am I going to do this? So this one I can just fold in the middle, I believe. Is this going to be the right size? Yeah, ish. That's going to work. And then I have this. So I'm going to, simply is good. I need a small scissors so I can cut this apart. I really don't have any problems with it. Doesn't need to be a junk journal. The main purpose of this is not to be as junky as possible. The main purpose of this is just to be a bound notebook with sturdier pages than Tomoe River paper, plus so what I want is to have this on the top, I believe. I don't know. And then this one too. So I still need to cut this. I think the reason why this is not coming off easily is because it's glued back here still. Yeah. Now I'm ripping stuff apart. I don't want to. Okay. This works. This one is going away. And then I have more of this. Okay. Where did I put my hinges? Right here. These will be cut off as well. Well, actually, I'm just gonna fold this. And yes, I could have made this journal just from mixed media paper. Could have, but wasn't able to because I do not have any more mixed media paper. I need to go buy more. Okay. I need to cut this first and then I can... Do I really want to cut it first? Though, yes, I want to cut off the top, which is... Let's just use this as the top. I will be back. And I am going to fold it in the middle because then I can just add something at the edge right here. And this paper isn't the best for sure. See, it like breaks apart right here. So and then I will need to find my bookbinding or my notebook binding stuff. Also, the only reason why I'm doing this probably most likely is because I'm procrastinating on finding yarn. Did I say that I might not be able to wind the yarn all the way? Do I want another hinge in here? Yeah, I do. Okay, let me start the explanation again. I don't have a, what is that called? A Swift. So if you have your yarn in a hank, it looks really pretty, but you can't really knit from it. So what you can do is wind your yarn by hand, which takes forever and is not something that I want to do. Or you can use a Swift. This is where it looks like an umbrella, and you put your yarn on it, and then you can use a ball winder to wind your yarn into a ball or cake. I don't have either one of those. And so if I find yarn that I want to knit these mitts from that are not already wound into a ball, I will have to, unfortunately, take them to work with me and wind them after work tomorrow. But we will get there when we get there. I am clipping these pages together so that they don't move apart. I want them to lay like this in my crook. And let me grab my stuff if I can find it. That was quick and easy. I have purchased quite a long time ago this binding kit from We Are Memory Keepers, and I am still using it. The only thing that I will need to purchase more of is this waxed thread. I really like using this to sew my notebooks. And then what I also need to do is quickly mark how high this notebook is going to be, so I know how to spread out the holes that I'm punching in. There's instructions, I believe these are those, for how to bind books in various different ways. Saddle stitch, Coptic covers, and Japanese bound piercing. I never really looked at it, how it's done, but you can actually, I'm sure you can Google more of this, and you could totally use this. So what I usually do is this has a fold here, and then I will line this up with the bottom corner here, and hoping to get this kind of straight. Where's the other one? Did it just roll down here? Yep. Like so. And then I keep the needle in the instruction booklet because otherwise I will lose it. But what I do need is this punch tool. So this is where it goes, and then I might use this one and obviously this one, and then I'm just dividing the holes in between. So if I go here, one left, one, then this would be it. So what if I leave out two? One. Ugh. I'm annoyed. Let's just start by going like this. And then I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just gonna punch this in the middle. I think the one in the middle is not the same distance. We can see that here. Yep. I could have just left this because I think I already did this. It's not almost in the middle everywhere, but you know what? I don't care. Then I usually cut the thread about double the length of the notebook. Okay, and then I'm just gonna cut here, needle, yes, I wish this was neater, but I actually really love that I can easily bind my notebooks, and this is not taking too much time. It's going to work out well for me no matter. I'm just gonna not use the middle hole here because who cares? And then I usually just go up, and then when I'm all the way up, okay, I need a little bit more. This feels almost like I made it too short. When I'm all the way up, I'm just going back down. I have never checked if this is how saddle stitch actually works, but it works for me and the way that I am using the notebooks. However, I believe that this is too short, and so I'm just going to use the same holes, going back up here, and then going back down, and then going. What I usually do when I make those is I go down. Wow, this is not going great here. Okay, then I will go down here, come back up and tie the knot. Let's see if that is going to work for me right now. Okay. Okay. And then I try to tie the knot so that it's in one of the holes here. And I should have cut this a tiny bit longer, as you can clearly see. And then I usually don't even cut the threads off too far because I'm just scared that it will come undone. And I leave them like this, and then the notebook is done. So that was the first step. The next step for me would be to fold it and then cut the bottom and then put a ruler and then rip the pages so that I find that when I cut them, they are more uneven and they bother me more than when I just rip them page by page and they look kind of odd. But I will show that to you as well. So cutting this, where is that? Right here. I need a cutting mat. Okay, I'm back. Oh, I need a knife. Oh, it's right here. Ta-da! I remember I wanted to cut off some stuff. So what I do is I just use the knife and cut very lightly along the same edge over and over again, trying to hold the knife straight so that I'm not creating edges anywhere. And then at some point, this will be cut all the way through. And I'm really trying not to put on too much pressure, because then, but I can't, especially back here. It's just has to be a little bit of pressure. Okay. This is what the bottom looks like, or the top. Well, probably the top, because I'm having this here. So then I need to know the width, and that is, this is how I do that. Just go like that. And then again, I'm putting down the ruler, and then I'm just ripping along this edge. And I'm taking every single page and ripping it along that edge, just like so. And this is how the pages look like then, once they're ripped. And I like that better than having pages and then I just move the ruler down and rip again. And I'm not using the same page. I am using more than one page, as you can see, but that is as much as you can get, you know. 2 is probably better than 3 and faster than just 1, or maybe I can just, this also works, but then if it veers off the edge, so this was 4 pages, interesting. It's harder to adjust, if that makes any sense. Okay, let me go down further. I'm just going to take the last bundle here and then the last page as well. This looks like it's off, but that's okay. All right, next knitting journal done. Okay, so what I will do and put onto my next dice roll thing is to finish, to stick in all the things into my knitting journals of the past, so that maybe I'll leave this out, but this is what it looks like now. Here we go. 1, I need to add a 3, 2, and 3. Is it a tiny bit bigger than the other ones? Yeah. Do I care? No. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? Because I am a fountain pen person and this is fountain pen friendly paper, I can just, so it is what it is, May 4th. I know you will see this much later. 2025. What are they called? West Coast mittens. Um, Definitely feels like it is a little wetter. I haven't had any starving just yet, so that is good. Perfect. I'm excited about this. I wanted to cut this out and stick it right here in the beginning. And then we can switch cameras and move to the floor, I guess, to look at the yarn that is usable. And then someone needs to come and clean up my mess, please. Okay, so what do I have here? This is brown. I feel like, what if I just use these two? These kind of stand out to me right now and they look really nice. This one is more woolly and they're on the top, and why not, right? I think this could make a really good, yep. I'm just gonna call it that. This is how I'm going to knit my socks. This is not socks, my mitts. This is already divided into two balls. This is just one. That's fine. I don't need, yeah, these colors are really speaking to me right now, and so I'm just going to go with those. The pattern calls for 3.25 or 3.5 millimeters double pointed needles. Now I need to check if I have them. Oh, I already opened this. These are 3.5 millimeter bamboo needles, and I guess I'm just going to try those first. One, two, three, four, five. Oh, I think I remember that this is not the right cast on. Something extremely stretchy cast on is what I should be using. But I don't remember how that goes. However, I can show you right here. Does it focus? I actually really like how this is not showing much, but I like how these two colors look together. So I guess I need to grab my computer again and look for the cast on. My dog is eating a bully stick. He's not eating it. He's like, the aggressively chewing on it is probably better. So quickly and so fast. Oh my gosh. He's gonna be done in like 5 seconds. So I'm gonna go grab that tutorial and then I will show you later what that looks like when I'm done. Well, I don't know how much you're going to see of the knitting process, but I found needles. I found the yarn. The yarn was broken for the brown ball, so I didn't bring it over, but this is the color. I guess I will have to attach that somehow later when I get there. I am going to cut some of this off, so it's, or maybe I'm just going to leave it for now. The pattern called to cast on 36 stitches and then join them in on the round. Unfortunately, my needles are immensely long, so it's quite unwieldy. But what I'm wondering, even though I used the German stretchy cast on, I'm wondering if this is actually going to fit, because it feels like it's going to get, you know, pretty tight. Let me put this over here. I don't know, it kind of, yes, of course, this is, but look at how much I'm stretching this out. I don't know if I need to adjust um, the mittens right away. What I'm thinking of doing is I think maybe I am going to go on Ravelry, read some of the notes of other people who did this, and see if they adjusted the pattern. This seems too small for my hands. So that's what I'm thinking. What I'm actually really liking is how these two colors of yarn blend together. You can't really see much just yet, but I like this. I'm very much liking this. I like that it was just there, that I picked it right away. It fell into my eye, and this is going to work really well for me. Of course, because I haven't knit in such a long time. Oh, wow. You know, when you think it's going to be really easy, well, it's not. You might have seen me struggle with casting on. I had to rip it out like 3 times. And I am still not convinced that this is the right size for my hands. I feel if I put this on, even though, yes, it's going to be stretchy, there won't be wooden needles, this looks like it's going to be too tight. Like, I don't know. So what I'm actually thinking right now is reading up on the pattern notes on Ravelry and see what other people say. I've already am using the bigger needles that were suggested for the pattern. So I think I'm okay. I'm also not knitting too tightly. Maybe the first row was really tight, but then it was very obvious that I wasn't knitting tightly. Yes, this is only 4 rounds, so I can't really say much about it. I really love how these 2 yarns knit up together. This looks really good. I like how this just like jumped out at me first thing. But yeah, so the next step for me for this is to look up what other people say about this pattern on Ravelry, if I need to adjust it, and how I can easily adjust it. I think I can do that because it doesn't look too hard. The pattern, I read through it earlier. I feel like this is definitely one of those things where I will understand what I'm doing the second I start working in that specific round, and I'm just gonna have to trust that what I'm doing is the right thing. So I'm glad I started this. This looks really cool. I love it. So I went from 36 stitches, which was too tight, to 44, because 44 is easily divided by 4 to be put onto 4 needles. Now it's floppy. And I don't know if I like this. Fuck. I ripped it back out and went down to 40 stitches. So the pattern calls for 36. The one time that you just saw was 44. This is 40. This looks good. This is the furthest I have gotten since I tried it, since I started. And yeah, I'll keep you updated on how this is going. If you have knit any mitts, well, you know, basically what I'm looking for are hand warmers that go from here to here with a thumb gusset. If you have knit a pattern, drop it in the comments below. I might just also rip it out and start over. I'm super excited that I was able to make this notebook. I'm glad this is a really good use for this specific journal cover that I recently got from my friend Wendy Sue. And I'm also very happy that even though it didn't work out the way I intended it to work, that I was able to move my Pilot nib into this pen. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Until then, bye.